Hello everyone, my name is Leona Rae. Welcome in podcast Divine Sisterhood Unfuck Your Life. Today I have this honor to be with beautiful priestess Emma Rose, who is a divine feminine embodiment coach and Kundalini facilitator. We just finished with Emma a wealth portal journey together, and she is birthing something absolutely amazing called Shadow and the Rose, which we will tell you a little bit more afterwards. But first I want to grill Emma with some divine sisterhood questions to know her a little bit and introduce herself. So welcome, Emma.
Thank you for having me.
We have this Kundalini fire questions for you. So I wanted to first ask you, what was your first awakening moment?
Oh, wow, there's been a couple.
Choose one.
Yeah, I think like my most obvious one would be the first time that I sat with medicine in a shamanic ceremony. So I'd always been spiritual, and I've always felt spiritual, and I had crystals and cards, and I was going to psychic circles, but I hadn't really travelled down the path of the shamanic ways and the medicine ceremonies. And then I was getting loads of guidance about sitting with the plants, and I didn't really understand what that truly meant. But then it kind of just naturally weaved into my life, and I was going to sound baths, and these people were holding ceremony, and I was like,
what plant medicine was it?
It was psilocybin, so it was mushroom medicine. And I just felt totally ready. I had no sort of like fears around it or any kind of self-sabotage talk, which a lot of people obviously get when they're going to sit with medicine. But I think I've been thinking about it and getting guidance for so long that I just knew the time was right.
They called you plant spirit, in my opinion, always.
Yeah, and I think when the call's that direct and it's supposed to happen and it's in alignment, there isn't as much ego in it as some people sometimes experience. Well, not for me anyway. So so I went to the ceremony.
What happened?
And when I first sort of, went into my journey and I was journeying, my ancestors were there and they were kind of just like, oh, we've been waiting for you. Like, where have you been? And I was like, I'm here now. Give me space, give me time. And then I was being shown lots of different past lives. And the reason I had this medicine journey, because I specifically asked Spirit to show me how to heal my heart space and my heart pain and my physical illnesses that I'd had all my life. And they were showing me all these different past lives and these energetic imprints, karmic imprints, and it was all starting to finally make sense. And then they were like, you're supposed to be doing the healing, you're supposed to alchemize the pain in people's hearts, this is your gift, you can't not show up to your soul's purpose, right? So even though I'd had awakenings before that, where it was like I was waking up to spirituality, it was the medicine journey that was the awakening where I realised I couldn't go on the way I was going on, that life from that point onwards was forever different. Like it really was the ego death, the rebirth, like you can't go back to how it was 12 hours before. Like I walked out of there a different person, like shed so many layers, gone to the shadows, the depths, and also like to the ancestors, connected back into Christ consciousness and spirit, and like had that clear vision of this, you are awake now. You've had many awakenings, but now you're fully awake and you've got to start to integrate all of that and show up for your soul's purpose.
It's because actually the main wounding, if you carry, for example, pain hard for so many lifetimes, right? This is actually the indicator for what is your medicine here, which you're holding to the collective. So you uncovered in that ceremony that you are the pain healer, right?
Yeah.
The heart pain healer.
So everything they were showing me, like all of the imprints, was heart chakra. Heart chakra, heart chakra, heart chakra was the pain point in me. It was the physical illnesses, the physical ailments, the grief imprints, the ancestral grief imprints, and all of that was coming through in that. And then when I asked them to show me why I need to see this, why do I need to know this, why are you showing me? That's when it was like, because you're the heart healer, you heal people's heart pain, you work with the heart chakra, this is your soul's purpose and in your medicine. And it's what you are sent here to do in this lifetime, is to bring that.
That's so beautiful and so powerful, because, wow. Next time when I ask for break my heart, guys, call Emma. She will sort you out heartbreak, heart pain. Like I am so, we should do this podcast 4 weeks ago. Because I'll be like, touch me. Okay, so let's go for the next question. When did you realize you could no longer live the way you were? So probably after ceremony. What's happened?
Yeah. So after ceremony, to be honest, I left ceremony on a real high because obviously I had expanded my consciousness and my frequency and connected into such beautiful energy because I did go up. That it stayed with me for quite a few weeks after, where I was in that beautiful space of just sort of like still working with the medicine really strongly and like in that flow state where your ego is not kicking in. And then I kind of started to shift back down when my ego was coming into play and I was having all the same fear-based worries that people have of like, well, if I change my life now and
uncertainty,
make these big changes, you know, then how will, like, you know, it's scary to let go of our old identities. It's scary to let go of our pain. It's scary to let go of physical disease because that's your identity. So I'd gone there to heal my physical ailments and my emotional and mental ailments and PTSD and abandonment and heart pain. And then I was handed the medicine, but it's scary to keep using it because it's like you've got to lose identities you've clung to for your whole life, right? So that's when it all started to shift and I started to get the awareness of I've got to make really difficult decisions. I've got to sever ties with certain people, family members even, that was so unhealthy for me and it was making me sick and holding me back and keeping me small. So it was the realization of like lifting the veil, seeing things crystal clear, but also the fear, right? Owning the fear of who am I without these identities?
But also owning the self-love and choosing yourself.
Not abandoning myself.
Yes, not abandoning yourself, which is ego, shadow, and
my biggest wound is self-abandonment. My biggest wound has been self-abandonment. It's how I've lived my life over giving all the time. Everybody else has more worth than I do. Every time I give somebody more worth than me or I overgive, I abandon myself, my needs. Who am I? Where's my self-love? I'm loving this person, but who's loving me? Unconditionally.
Yes, this is such a beautiful teaching, and I think so many people, and especially women, are going that path because we are naturally nurturing and giving, but when the balance is off, this is when the physical illness and the resentment and grief and sadness start to come, and then obviously that leads to self-hatred, which is completely opposite to self-love, right?
Yeah, self-hatred, and then you berate yourself. You're your biggest bully. Internal bully, right? The biggest internal bully.
Yes. Wow, that's a big journey. So what feminine wound did you carry the longest? So is it sisterhood, voice, body wound, mother wound, worth wound?
I think I've got two. It would be the worth and the mother wound for me, and they were kind of closely linked. So I had to spend a lot of time working through that, and actually that came way before the medicine journey where I had that big awakening. So like in my late teens and early 20s, I went down more of the conventional route of therapy, and that was really doing work around both my mother and father wounds and my inner child and reparenting and creating safety, because, you know, I'd come from, I mean, my mum had done the best she could. She was like a single mum and she did everything out of pure love, but she didn't always get it right, and there was decisions that had to be made that were hard, and that leaves that energetic imprint, right? So you have to kind of work with that as well.
But this is so interesting because everyone who had a mother wound, in order to heal it, come back to earth mother wisdom through the work of medicine wheel, which we're both doing, and also the Kundalini, which is the ultimate mother. It's like the cosmic mother imprinted in yourself, and now you are priesting her. So yes, those revelations, and I think missions come when the mother wound is healed.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely. And also that's interesting because my actual physical mum here was so in her masculine, and she wasn't able to be in her feminine.
She would be my perfect client,
right? And I've been healing the lineage because there's so much of that in my lineage, in my ancestors, of where they weren't allowed to safely sit in the feminine. Like healing the divine feminine is not just about us internally and our inner union and our divine feminine. It's the lineage and ancestral work as well that makes such a difference.
So I remember in your program Shadow and the Rose, this is the first temple you go and visit to restore the safety in the body, right? To remember the safety, because we all know that without safety there is no healing, and without safety there is no trust. So no one's gonna open and do it. So yes.
And the first two temples, like, obviously relate to the will, and they relate to the earth elements more down in Mother Earth, mother wounding. And then as we get into the final two temples, you're looking more at your father and your masculine energy, and it's all about the divine union and creating all
Balance,
of that balance. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. So what cracked you open?
Oh, I think I was cracked open really, really young. Like, I remember when we were speaking earlier off of the podcast, and you said, when did your awakening start? What pain brought you to spirituality? And I feel like I was cracked open in my childhood. Like, with my physical conditions, I spent a lot of time in hospital. I didn't have a normal childhood. I was going through a lot of trauma, a lot of abandonment, a lot of rejection, and a lot of fear, really. And I would say, like, I was cracked open quite young, and it was a very scary process. And I think I just kind of walked for the first 15-20 years of life just raw and vulnerable and open, and not really knowing how I fix myself. And then the beautiful journey that I've been on for like the last 15 years has shown me that it's not about fixing. It's
because you're not broken.
I'm whole. It's just accepting and integrating and loving every single aspect of who I am, and that none of that really matters. Like, all the vulnerabilities, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be seen as vulnerable.
Absolutely. Vulnerability is the true courage, I think. So, well, hats off to you. So what medicine did your pain initiate into?
Medicine. I think my medicine is heart healing. I think my medicine is safety, nurturing, taking trauma and turning it into transformation, and pain into power, wounds to wisdom. Yeah.
The ultimate alchemy. Yeah. What are you reclaiming now as a woman?
Oh, juicy.
So a truth, a fire, a soulmate, pee break. Hold on. Okay, so what are you reclaiming now as a woman? What are you actually working in this moment in time? What do you want to bring more to the surface?
I think what I'm working with now is my voice. I feel like I've really been channeling a lot for the Divine Feminine Collective. I feel like I've got a lot of wisdom and knowledge that I need to bring, and I've had to overcome a lot of my own kind of shadows and self-sabotage around being seen or heard in a certain way on social platforms. So it's reclaiming my voice, my authenticity, and the ability to be out there and not be afraid of speaking my truth and speaking the truth of the Divine Feminine and not holding back.
Yes. Let's go, Kali. What would you whisper to your past self?
You're enough.
You're enough.
You're enough.
That's really good. Now, what do you believe we are here to remember as women?
How powerful we are. Yeah, how fucking powerful we are. That we are the womb of divine creation.
Absolutely. The ultimate creatrix over the victimhood.
Exactly that. Like, we can't be held down, silenced, nothing. We are powerful. We're sovereign.
Absolutely. What does it mean to be unfucked?
Oh, I like getting unfucked. And to me, it means showing up exactly as who you are. You don't need to stay small and play small for anybody. Like, this is your one shot at life, and this is your one shot at being the priestess you're meant to be. So just go out there and unfuck yourself. Unfuck yourself, because no one's gonna save you. Yes. Unfuck yourself, because it's not the other people fucking you, it's you fucking you. Stop fucking yourself.
Yes. And I think with the even holding the containers as facilitators and sacred spaces holders, we are creating conditions for your unraveling, which is your unfucking yourself.
100%. Bringing the wild woman out, right? The wild woman who doesn't care to be seen.
Yes. And now I wanted you to choose root or crown.
Root.
Wild or saint.
Wild. Definitely wild.
Rage or tears.
Tears.
And burn or bloom.
Bloom.
Bloom. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So guys, go to I am Emma Rose Instagram page to check her latest Shadow and the Rose program. I am sure, and I'm signing up myself for the beautiful holding where we can unfuck together and actually heal those little pain gremlins which were living in the heart, the past, and really it is about to shining your light without any walls and give it the best you have for yourself. So thank you so much, Emma. Thank you for being my guest and priesting me on my first podcast.
Thank you.
We have the Jaguar and the Rose, so absolutely with the theme. So thank you so much, and I see you soon on the next episode. Ha ho.